Hello everyone, welcome to Earth Archives. On May 25, 2023, one of the most trending news stories worldwide came from the Netherlands. A man named Oscar, who had been paralyzed from the waist down due to an accident, regained the ability to stand and walk with the help of neuroscientists and doctors from the University of Lausanne in Switzerland. Using a groundbreaking brain implant technology, this achievement not only opened new hope for the treatment of paralysis, but also made us wonder, how far can modern technology push the boundaries of human consciousness and memory? Can the connection between the brain and machines enable breakthroughs we once thought impossible? Today, we will dive deep into the workings of brain function and brain-machine interface technology, exploring how these advancements are reshaping our understanding of consciousness and memory. Join us as we explore whether it will be possible in the future to transfer our brains and memories into computers, and even achieve seamless sharing of human consciousness and thoughts. Starting with Oscar's breakthrough, how the human brain connects with machines. On a cold winter day in Lausanne, Switzerland, Oscar sat in his wheelchair, his eyes still filled with determination and resilience. A few years ago, he had countless dreams and hopes, but a sudden car accident changed his life completely. After the accident, Oscar was diagnosed with paralysis from the waist down, and the doctors told him that this injury would prevent him from ever standing or walking again. Although his body was confined to a wheelchair, Oscar's spirit never gave up. He always believed that the power of technology would one day change his fate. All of this began when he met the neuroscientists and doctors from the University of Lausanne. Oscar's turning point arrived when he heard that the neuroscience team at the University of Lausanne was conducting an unprecedented study, using brain implant technology to help paralyzed patients stand again. He was filled with hope. He knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and perhaps it was the miracle he had been waiting for. The doctors explained to Oscar that the core of this technology was a tiny device implanted in the brain, which could interact with the nervous system and convert the signals sent by the brain into actionable movements via an external device. After thorough examinations and evaluations, Oscar decided to become a test subject for this groundbreaking technology. After a long period of preparation and surgery, a micro device was successfully implanted into Oscar's brain. This device could capture the neural signals in Oscar's brain that control movement and transmit them to an external mechanical device, which, through an external electrical stimulation system, could activate Oscar's spinal cord, allowing him to regain the ability to stand. After countless hours of training and adjustments, the miracle finally happened. Oscar stood up. His legs felt weak, but he was able to stand independently and even began trying to take a few steps. For him, this was not just a physical rebirth, but a psychological one. From someone trapped in a wheelchair to now being able to stand and walk, Oscar's story has undoubtedly amazed the world. He rediscovered the freedom of walking, and all of this was made possible by the perfect connection between the brain and the machine. The mystery of brain function. How to understand the operation of consciousness. When we close our eyes, feeling our thoughts drifting aimlessly, and suddenly become aware of the present moment, how does this experience arise? How does the brain organize these seemingly chaotic signals into a coherent world of consciousness? This is not only a mysterious question, but also a challenge that scientists have been working hard to answer. As we explore the mysteries of the brain, we begin to realize that its functioning is far more complex than we imagined. Consciousness is not merely the result of thought, but an astonishing miracle woven together by countless neurons and electrical signals. Imagine you're walking down the street, everything around you seems ordinary, but in reality, your brain is processing thousands of pieces of information at an incredible speed. These pieces of information come from multiple sensory sources like vision, hearing, and touch, and they weave together in your brain into a cohesive story. Every slight movement, every shift of your gaze, every whisper of the wind near your ear is your brain constantly at work, combining external stimuli with internal memories and emotions to create a complete experience of the present moment. However, none of this happens unconsciously. In fact, neurons in the brain work together through complex connections, allowing consciousness to exist. When you're walking down the street and notice a child running around the corner, this is not just a random reaction of the brain. It is the result of the brain's ongoing processes. The sensory system first collects visual information. Then the visual cortex in the brain begins to process this information, combining it with your previous experiences and knowledge, eventually producing an understandable image. This is part of consciousness, helping us make sense of the world around us and respond accordingly. Even more fascinating is how the brain generates our self-perception. In certain situations, you might suddenly realize you are in a particular place or recall a past experience. Behind all of this is the operation of neurons. They interact and connect, allowing you to have the concept of self. This self-awareness is not dominated by a single area of the brain, but is a result of cooperation between multiple brain regions, including the cortex, limbic system, and other interconnected parts. Brain-machine interface. Will telepathy be possible in the future? Imagine if you could communicate with others without the need for speech or gestures, just by thinking. The other person would know your thoughts. It sounds like a scene from a science fiction novel, but with advances in technology, such telepathy seems to be becoming increasingly possible. In recent years, as brain-machine interface (BCI) technology has developed, scientists are working toward the goal of directly connecting the brain to computers. So, could we really achieve telepathy between individuals, just like in science fiction stories? Let's start with the technology we have now. A brain-computer interface (BCI) is a technology that enables direct communication between the brain and external devices. This technology can convert the brain's neural signals into electronic signals, allowing people to control machines, wheelchairs, prosthetics, and more. These devices have already made groundbreaking progress in many fields, particularly in the medical field, helping countless people who have lost mobility due to accidents or diseases regain their ability to move. For example, through the connection between the brain and computer, patients can control the movement of a wheelchair through their thoughts, and even operate surgical machines during surgeries. However, the core of these technologies is to translate the brain's intent into actions, rather than directly reading thoughts. While brain-machine interface technology can already help people control machines and establish partial connections with the brain, there is still a long way to go before achieving true telepathy. True telepathy requires not just the conversion of intent, but the exchange of thoughts. In this context, how a brain-machine interface can interpret a person's emotions, thoughts, or intentions and accurately transmit those inner experiences to another person remains a significant challenge for the scientific community. With rapid technological development, this might not be impossible. Scientists have already begun researching how to use more sophisticated brain-machine interfaces to decode brain activity and transform it into specific information. In the future, we may be able to encode the thoughts in our brains and transmit them directly to another person's brain through wireless signals, achieving silent, telepathic communication. Moreover, advancements in artificial intelligence will further enhance the accuracy and efficiency of these technologies, allowing us to read and understand others' emotions, feelings, and even subconscious thoughts. Brain-machine interface. Could mind reading become possible in the future? Imagine if you could communicate with someone without speaking or using gestures, just with a thought, and the other person would know exactly what you're thinking. It sounds like a scene from a science fiction novel, but with technological advances, such telepathy seems increasingly possible. In recent years, with the development of brain-machine interface (BCI) technology, scientists are moving closer to the goal of directly connecting the brain to computers. So, is it possible in the future to truly achieve telepathy between individuals, as seen in science fiction? Let's start by discussing current technologies. Brain-machine interface (BCI) technology is a method that allows direct communication between the brain and external devices. This technology can convert the brain's neural signals into electronic signals, which can then control machines, wheelchairs, prosthetics, and other devices. These devices have already made groundbreaking advancements, especially in the medical field, helping countless individuals who have lost the ability to move due to accidents or diseases regain mobility. For instance, through brain-computer connections, patients can control the movement of a wheelchair with their thoughts, and even operate surgical machines to perform surgeries. However, the core of these technologies is to translate the brain's intentions into actions, not to directly read thoughts. Therefore, while brain-machine interface technology has already helped people control machines and establish partial connections with the brain, it is still far from achieving what we think of as telepathy. True telepathy requires not just the conversion of intentions, but the sharing of thoughts. In this case, how a brain-machine interface can interpret a person's emotions, thoughts, or intentions and accurately transmit these internal feelings to another person remains a significant challenge in the scientific community. With the rapid development of technology, this may not be impossible. Scientists have already begun researching how to use more sophisticated brain-machine interfaces to decode internal brain activity and convert it into concrete information. In the future, we may be able to encode thoughts from the brain and transmit them directly to another person's brain via wireless signals, achieving silent, seamless mind reading. Furthermore, advancements in artificial intelligence will further enhance the accuracy and efficiency of these technologies, enabling us to read and understand others' emotions, feelings, and even their subconscious. The future of brain-machine interfaces, solving sensory loss and enabling direct communication. Imagine a future where one day you who have lost your sight can see the world again through a brain-machine interface, or where you, who have hearing loss, can directly hear the thoughts of others, no longer relying on traditional senses. While this scenario may sound like something from a science fiction novel, with the advancement of scientific research, this future may not be so far off. A brain-machine interface, BCI, is, simply put, a technology that connects the brain to external devices. It enables direct interaction between our thoughts, neural activities, and computers, machines, or other electronic devices through electronic signals. The initial purpose of this technology was to help people who have lost sensory functions due to injury, illness, or congenital conditions. For example, some patients after accidents or illnesses may lose their sight or hearing, and BCI technology can help restore these functions through a connection to the brain. Imagine that when a visually impaired person wears an advanced BCI, the device can convert external images into neural signals and transmit them to the brain, allowing them to see these images, even though their eyes cannot capture them. This is not just a technological miracle, but a breakthrough in human sensory limitations. On the other hand, brain-machine interface technology may also solve the challenges faced by people with hearing loss. Today, deaf individuals typically rely on hearing aids to amplify external sounds, but these devices cannot fully restore the real sensation of hearing. Future BCIs may not just amplify sound, but directly convert speech and sound messages into neural signals that the brain can understand, enabling direct hearing. This way, individuals with hearing loss could not only regain the perception of audio, but might even be able to hear their thoughts, offering an unprecedented experience. Even more astonishing, BCIs could enable even more direct ways of communication in the future. Have you ever imagined being able to communicate with others purely through thoughts, without the need for language, text, or body language? This may sound like a scene from a movie, but scientists are working toward this goal. BCIs could allow direct, language-free communication between brains. When two people wear corresponding BCIs, their thoughts can be transmitted directly to each other, allowing for real-time exchange, whether it's an emotional connection or a complex exchange of ideas, all completed in an instant. This kind of communication is not just a breakthrough in language, but a deep exchange of thoughts, elevating human social interactions and emotional expression to an unprecedented level. Future socializing, telepathy, and brain network communication. In the future, the way we interact socially may no longer be limited to language or written communication. With the advancement of technology, a whole new concept is quietly emerging: telepathy and brain network communication. Imagine a world where, when you communicate with others, you no longer need to craft sentences or even make a sound. Simply through the power of thought, you can engage in deep, meaningful exchanges. This groundbreaking form of social interaction may sound like something from a science fiction novel, but it could very well become a reality in the near future. Advances in technology have paved the way for this shift, especially with the development of brain-machine interface (BCI) technology, which opens a window to the potential of telepathy. Simply put, a brain-machine interface is a technology that enables direct communication between the brain and external devices. By converting the brain's neural signals into recognizable digital signals, it allows for a seamless connection between the human brain and machines. In the future, this technology will not only help paralyzed individuals stand again, but also allow us to break through traditional methods of communication, enabling true telepathic communication. Imagine you and your friend both wearing advanced BCIs. You could exchange thoughts directly without using language. This is no longer about expressing abstract concepts through words, but instead engaging in direct communication through the brain. Your thoughts would be instantly transmitted to the other person, and their response would immediately reflect in your own brain. This mode of communication significantly shortens the time it takes to understand and express ideas, making information transfer more efficient and intuitive. Most importantly, it removes language barriers. No matter what cultural background you come from, this telepathic communication would not be limited by language, allowing for seamless understanding. Now, think about the changes that would come if telepathy truly becomes reality. First, it would revolutionize human socializing. You would no longer need to explain your feelings through language because your thoughts and emotions could be directly conveyed to others. This would drastically reduce misunderstandings between people, as everyone would be able to directly sense the true intentions and emotions of the other. In certain situations, this intuitive communication could even enable a deeper understanding of each other's needs and expectations, enhancing overall social harmony. However, the future of telepathic communication is not entirely without its challenges. As this technology develops, privacy concerns are becoming a significant focus. If everyone's thoughts can be directly read, protecting individual privacy will become a huge challenge. Who controls the transmission of this information? Will people misuse this technology for unethical manipulation? These are important questions we must carefully consider. Towards a future beyond. With the continuous development of brain-machine interface technology and memory digitization, the future world may present possibilities beyond our imagination. From paralyzed patients regaining the ability to walk, to the deep integration of the brain with computers, to the realization of telepathy, breakthroughs in these technologies will unleash human potential like never before. We are living in a rapidly advancing technological era, and brain-machine connectivity and memory uploading will be among the key forces shaping the future. Although these technologies are still in their early stages, as time progresses, these science fiction-like dreams could become reality, transforming human lifestyles and cognitive patterns. Do you look forward to the day when you can directly share your thoughts and feelings with others? Or are you already eager to upload your memories into a computer? Let's witness the endless possibilities these technologies bring. If you're interested in stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment letting us know which mysteries you'd like to explore. See you in the next episode.